What is up, rad people? We are back in the BMW shop working on the Z4, and today we are going to pull apart the old motor. Well, not really pull it apart, but we're going to disassemble all the accessories from the old motor here, which has a cracked head, and put it on our new junkyard motor. They're both N52s. This came out of a 5 Series, an E60. An all-wheel drive application. So we got to swap the oil pan, swap all the accessories. I got to find out what the difference is between valve covers. I don't know what year they updated it. I think this is the newer one, but we're gonna see which one we want. I think, yeah, they moved this oil separator, oil-air separator. So we'll keep this one. It's gonna match the car. So we're gonna do that. Replace a bunch of seals. I got oil pan gasket, intake manifold gaskets. I think I got a crank, rear main seal, and everything else it needs. I'm going to swap trans over and dump it back in. But today, we're just focusing on swapping all these over and getting it ready to drop back in. So, follow along. It is some amount of days later since I started working on this, but we're back at it. Got the motor side by side here. Just got the oil pan off the Z3 motor, and which is over here, and I'm swapping them because the donor N52 came out of E60. I think I mentioned that before. So you can see the pan is a totally different shape. An all-wheel drive E62. Where'd it go? So there. That one, the Z4, is like completely rear sumped. This is like a mid-rear sump. So I had to change the pan, and the pickups are different. Over here is the Z4 pickup that's going onto this motor, and this was the one that came off. They kind of pick up in about the same place, but they're shaped differently. So whatever, we're gonna match it to the pan on the one it came out of. So that's that. Gonna put the pan together, and we'll continue the time lapse and get this thing all bolted back up. Almost had a big, well, not big, but a little screw up. Swapping these screws around because the patterns were different between each pickup. The other pickup only had 2 screws, so I had to move some stuff around. And there's short screws that hold this little shield in, baffle, then there's a little bit longer ones that hold the pickup. And I swapped a short one to here, and they're really lightly torqued. And as you can see, as I was torquing this one down, like barely tightening it, it just snapped right off. Thankfully, it broke on maybe focus. Well, you can kind of see it broke on a slant, so I was able to like finger it back in there and unscrew it enough that I could get it with my hands. So lucked out, and also lucked out that I've got more screws over here from this one. So I will be a little more careful putting the rest of these back in. Yesterday because a huge storm rolled in and I wanted to get the 135 back in the garage, so I had to move everything aside, clean up, and bring everything from outside in here. So it's a mess. So we are gonna push some cars back so I can get the 135 back out of the garage, and then we get back to work, and this thing is gonna be ready to put back in the car by the end of tonight. I've got to get it done. So we'll check back in once I got a little bit of workspace back figured out. Alright, we're having fun getting this motor ready. Currently I am working on getting these torque converter bolts out through this tiny little hole right here. It sucks. I should have done it. Probably should have done it when it was in the car. I've got 3 of them out there, you can see. But it kind of sucks. I've got it hanging on my Harbor Freight hoist here. The engine's swinging all around as I'm trying to get these bolts loose, so maybe lesson learned, do it when it's in the car. That way you're not dealing with a 600-pound motor hanging above you as you try to get these bolts out. It's kind of sketchy. Hopefully it doesn't crush me. But anyway, we're getting there. 3 more to go. It sucks, but I forgot to get them out. After I get them pulled out, I've got just 2 bolts here holding the bell housing on. I'll drop the trans off and we'll stick it on our motor over here. We're getting there. Alright, there you have it. The new N52 is all dressed up and the auto trans connected. As you saw, that trans was a beast and I struggled with it a bit to get it all lined up and put back on. But we got it. Managed to do it by myself. Quite heavy, but we got it on there. So everything swapped over except for the intake manifold. As I kind of explained when I was pulling the motor out, it was kind of tough to get some of these sensors unplugged, and figured I was going to drop the manifold on as I put the motor in. So that's that. We'll wrap this one up. Thanks for following along. Keep following along if you want to see more. Next one, we'll drop this motor in and take it for a drive and see how the Z4 Coupe drive, since we've never actually driven one of these. So, should be fun.